So, Corinne, how do I know if I'm taking on too much risk with my investments?
When we first got started, there was an initial assessment that you took, and part of that assessment was a risk questionnaire. So that can be a helpful tool in getting an idea of what your risk tolerance might be. Like, how much risk can you comfortably handle? Sometimes, though, I see people leaning on those questionnaires too much, and in doing so, they're not like listening to their inner voice. So if you are up at night thinking about your investments, if you are distracted by them during the day, then that might be a sign that you're taking too much risk. And it might be because, in fact, you are in really risky investments, and maybe it's just too much. Maybe it's more than what you need in order to achieve your goals. Maybe we could scale back the risk a little bit and you could still have the same outcome. Other times, it might just be because you don't understand the investment that well. Maybe you need to sit down with somebody and do some more research on what it is that you're invested in. A lot of times, we can reduce the amount of risk and the amount of stress associated with risk that we're feeling when we just get a better understanding of what it is that we're investing in.
Is the risk of me losing money or having my stocks go down in value, is that the only thing I should be worried about in terms of risk?
So that's the thing that a lot of people pay the most attention to when they're thinking about risk. They're asking like, are my investments too risky? Am I invested in stocks that are really risky or mutual funds that are really risky? And I think that our investment risk is one thing that we have to consider when we're doing financial planning. But there's actually some other risks too that we need to consider, like, are you at risk of not having enough money to reach your goals, like retirement? Are you at risk of your living expenses going up? Some of us are locked into certain commitments with our living expenses that if they increase and we're not anticipating that could throw a lot of things off in our financial plan, and that's a risky scenario. Even our employment and like the money that we're making can be risky or not risky. And so I think that we pay a lot of attention to how much risk we can take in our portfolios. And we talk all about portfolios and how you can construct them in a different video. So we talk a lot about portfolio risk and investment risk, but we don't really talk enough about all the other risks that can come into the big comprehensive picture when it comes to your financial plan. And just think about it, Katie. I mean, if you have a really stable job where you have a comfortable income that's reliable, then you can afford to take more risk with your investments. If you don't have as stable of a job, then maybe you need to be a bit more careful with how much risk you're taking with your living expenses. So it's this balance of all of the different risks that we can be exposed to that make up the full financial picture that we really need to consider. And if that sounds overwhelming, like, oh my gosh, there's risk everywhere. I agree. Like sometimes it can feel a little bit overwhelming, but there are lots of different things that we can do to help put all of that into balance. So you are overall taking an amount of risk that you feel comfortable with and that doesn't stress you out. So that's something that a financial planner can definitely do with you, is consider all of the risks that are part of your financial plan and get you to a place where it doesn't feel as stressful.